You crack out of your egg 2 feet under the sand, and there's no light down here, no sound, nothing. You are 3 inches long. You weigh less than a deck of cards. You have never seen the sky, and you will not see it for days. Beside you, dozens of your brothers and sisters are cracking out of their own eggs at almost the exact same moment, because that is not an accident. That was never going to be an accident. You don't know that yet. You don't know anything yet. You just know you have to dig. The temperature of the sand around your eggs decided something about you months ago, before you had a body to have it decided about. Warmer sand, you're female. Cooler sand, you're male. Nobody taught the sand to do this. It just does. You had no say in what you are. Nothing in this nest did. Skip forward. You've been digging for almost a week, not alone. All of you, clawing upward together, collapsing the sand from above down into the space you leave behind, using your brothers and sisters as the very floor you stand on to reach higher. If you dug alone, you would die down here. The sand would never give way. It takes all of you, clawing at once to reach the surface. This is the only reason any of you gets out. You break through into open air, and it is night, and the world is enormous, and you understand nothing about it except one thing. The ocean is brighter than the land. It always has been. Moonlight on water outshines dune grass every time, and something in you, something older than your own 3 inches, reads that light and starts running toward it. This is the most dangerous 100 yards you will ever cross, and you have no choice but to cross it in the open, on your belly, with 100 siblings doing the exact same thing beside you. Ghost crabs come out of their burrows first. They don't chase far. They don't have to. They just wait at the edge of their holes and grab whatever passes close enough. One of your brothers goes down 12 feet from the nest. You don't stop. You can't. Stopping means the same thing happens to you. Frigate birds are already circling, and they have been circling since before you broke the surface. Because they know this beach. They know this week. They know that sand gives way to hatchlings in enormous synchronized crops, and they have simply been waiting. A gull takes 2 of your sisters in the same pass, one in each direction, barely breaking stride. You don't look up. Looking up costs half a second, and half a second is the difference between the water and a beak. Out of every 100 of you that broke the surface tonight, roughly 1 will live to be an adult. Not the crab's fault, not the bird's fault. This is simply the price of being what you are. And it was the price before you existed, and it will be the price after. You reach the waterline, and the first wave that hits you knocks you backward, end over end. And for a moment, you don't know which way is up, and then the wave pulls back out and takes you with it. And you're swimming. Actually swimming. Front flippers rotating in a motion no fish makes, pulling you forward in long, deliberate strokes that your body somehow already knows, that nobody taught you, that you will use unchanged for the rest of your life. You do not stop for the next 2 days. This is called the swim frenzy, and nobody named it as a compliment. You swim through the night. You swim through the sunrise. You swim while every muscle in your body screams for you to rest, and you do not rest, because the water near shore is worse than the beach was. Bigger fish, working the surf line specifically because they know what week this is, the same way the birds did. The only way through this stretch of ocean is to get out of it as fast as your body allows, and your body allows 2 straight days of swimming on the reserves of a yolk sac you haven't fully absorbed yet. You make it to open water. You have no idea you made it. You just know the panic starts to loosen, half a degree at a time, and eventually you let yourself drift. Skip forward. You're a few months old, and you have found the only safe place in the entire ocean for something your size. It's a mat of floating sargassum weed, an island that isn't an island drifting with the current, and underneath it the water is full of tiny shrimp and jellyfish and fish eggs, more food than you've seen since you left the nest. You tuck yourself into the weed and you stay there. Predators looking down from above see a shadow that isn't shaped like anything worth eating. Predators looking up from below see a raft, not a turtle. For the first time since you cracked your shell, you are not the smallest visible thing in open water. Nobody has ever fully tracked what you do for the next several years. Researchers call this stretch of your life the lost years, because that's exactly what it is to them. You disappear into open ocean, drifting with currents that circle entire ocean basins, and you simply are not seen again until you're the size of a dinner plate. You could be anywhere. You are, for years at a time, genuinely anywhere. And the only thing anyone knows for certain is that you're still moving, because the current never stops moving either. You grow the way a leaf grows, at the pace the water decides, not the pace you'd choose. Some years the sargassum is thick with food and you double in size. Some years it thins out and you barely grow at all. You have no calendar. You only have hunger and the loosening or tightening of that hunger, and you follow it wherever the current happens to be taking you that season. Skip forward. You are years older now, large enough that the things that used to eat you no longer bother, and something in you starts paying attention to a direction, not a place. A direction encoded in the Earth's own magnetic field, a signature so faint it has no smell, no sound, no visible mark on the water, and yet you read it the way you once read moonlight on the surf. This field was recorded into you in the first 30 seconds you were alive, in the sand, before you even reached the water. It is the address of the exact beach you hatched on, filed away in a sense no one has ever been able to fully explain, and you will carry that address for decades without once needing to check it. You don't know yet that you're going to use it. You just know the direction feels correct, the way a flower feels correct to something that has never seen a flower before. Skip forward. Years have passed, more than you've been given the ability to count, and you are enormous now, hundreds of pounds, moving with a slow certainty nothing your size in the open ocean questions. A tiger shark tests you once, exploratory pass along your shell, and pulls off. Your shell is hardened into something closer to armor than bone, and there are marks along its edge from encounters you don't remember losing, only surviving. And then one season, the direction stops being a background feeling and becomes the only thing that matters. You turn toward it, and you do not stop, for hundreds, for thousands of miles, through open water with no coastline in sight for weeks, navigating by a field you cannot see toward a beach you have not touched since you were 3 inches long and blind to everything except moonlight. You do not know why you're doing this. You only know that something in you says go, the same way it once said swim, the same way it once said dig. So you go. You reach the coastline, and somehow, out of the entire length of it, out of hundreds of miles of sand that all looks identical to anything without your particular sense, you find the beach. The actual beach. The one you left. Nobody explains this to you, and you don't need it explained. You just haul yourself up out of the surf, dragging hundreds of pounds across sand for the first time since you were newly hatched, and moving in the opposite direction, and you begin to dig. This costs you everything you have. You dig with flippers built for water, not sand, and it takes hours, and you cry while you do it. Thick tears running from glands beside your eyes. Not from grief, just salt, just your body managing what the ocean usually manages for you. But it looks like grief to anyone watching from the dune grass, and maybe that's not entirely wrong either. You lay over 100 eggs in a chamber you carved yourself, cover them with the same sand that once covered you, and turn back toward the water without ever seeing what happens next. You will never meet them. You will never know if they make it past the crabs, past the birds, past the 2 days of open water panic that you survived, only because enough of your siblings dug beside you. You do this again in a few years, and again after that. Some of you have been recorded returning to nest for over 3 decades, the same beach every time, the same magnetic address, unchanged since the day you first read it in the sand as something too young to understand what a beach even was. But here is the part that has nothing to do with sharks or ghost crabs, or the 2-day frenzy in the surf. You surface for a breath one afternoon in water you've swum through 100 times before, and there's something floating just ahead of you, pale and drifting, moving exactly the way a jellyfish moves, exactly the way food has always moved in every current you've ever fed in. You have eaten thousands of jellyfish in your life, and your body knows precisely what to do with one. It does not know what to do with a plastic bag. You are one of 7 species left: loggerhead, green, hawksbill, Kemp's ridley, olive ridley, flatback, leatherback. The leatherback is the largest, capable of diving deeper than almost anything that breathes air. Chasing jellyfish into cold water, no other reptile survives. The Kemp's ridley is the rarest, nesting almost entirely on one stretch of Mexican coastline, all of them arriving together in a single synchronized event called an arrabada. Thousands of females hauling out in the same days, the same way you once hatched in a synchronized crop with your siblings. The oldest recorded sea turtle, a loggerhead tracked by researchers over multiple decades, was still nesting past the age of 50, still returning to the same beach, still reading the same field, still digging with the same flippers built for water. The next time you see a sea turtle gliding calmly through an aquarium tank, remember, everything about that calm is a lie earned through 50 years of open ocean survival math that started with clawing out of a sand grave in total darkness. Subscribe if you want to feel bad about more animals.